Hey, this is Clayton Slutsky, and this is about police brutality and me and my view of the police and the police phenomenon going on. There's a lot of police brutality, and it's really unfair. The only movements in the news are Black Lives Matter and Black Lives Matter and defund the police. But who can tell what the police is? The police is some kind of strange conglomerate. It certainly isn't run usual. And while the police run usual arrests for everyone on the planet except me, but that's not true anymore. I mean, they're rough on me and they go after me every day. And the police certainly don't support me and don't like me. And they try to cuff or kill me every day of my life. But the problem is they're just not real. The police isn't a real person. They're just ghosts. And the ghosts just come after you and you can't see them. They're kind of mirage. And if you're a mirage and you think I'm guilty of crime, then that's great, but you live in a different dimension than me, and it doesn't make much sense. And you're not real, and I am. And the real cop wouldn't say anything to me, just say, he'd be polite and say, or ignore me and say I have mental health issues. As and I am an unpopular person. You could tell which dimension you're in if I'm popular or unpopular. Do I have 1 million haters or zero friends? It's really the difference there. So I like to talk about big cops and small cops. This is my first topic. There's these big cops and these small cops. Like the big cops are the muscle builders, and they go to the gym, they work out, I guess, and they do things differently than the small cops. And they kind of own the tri-state area of New Jersey and New York and Pennsylvania, or maybe just New Jersey, New York, or whatever the tri-state area is. I don't know if they're in Connecticut or not, but that's what the big cops' territory is, and the big cops basically have unlimited manpower, and they like to do funny things with manpower, and they ask me to supply them with the PBA, and I don't always do it. And the big cops are a little suspicious, but they don't need internal audits, and they do everything by the books. And the small cops just ignore me basically, and I don't really know them. But then there's the FBI too, and the FBI are small cops, but they're also mirages and they're also ghosts, and you also can't see them. So, which is strange because most cops are invisible, and they're not using invisibility items. They're just invisible people. As a ghost, meaning you're a mirage that I can barely see, and you bother me a little bit, but you bother my soul a lot. Because when you capture my soul and torture it, then and interrogate it constantly, you're bothering me, but not really because I don't notice it. I'm just a, a body, and I'm just a person. Okay, so there's the big cops and the small cops. The big cops will be they're basically like a clique that's in town to keep a lid on things, and the lid on things was never kept, and they're out of control, and they just butcher me all the time, and they used to help me a little bit, but I got really out of control, and now they don't anymore, and they really hate their job, and they do it every day, and it's not New York's finest, it's New York's bullshit. That's what it is. I want to say clearly that I never did anything a day of my life. I never did a crime, and do is the wrong word. Because crimes are not done, and it's not an act that is ever taken by anyone. And and I didn't do anything. Maybe this is point two. Maybe thinking or hallucinations are crimes. If a hallucination is a crime, then no, hallucination is just a mirage that's out front that we don't really see, and maybe it's bloody, and maybe there's dead, and maybe there's this, and maybe there's that, maybe there's a crime. But these are just hallucinations. Like, sorry, I can't hold this tablet too steady, and um, I think I need a haircut. Yeah, so hallucinations are a crime apparently. Okay, I hallucinate a lot. It's from a permanent quantum symbol, and the permanent quantum symbol hallucinates and hallucinates and hallucinates, and we get a lot of hallucinogens from that. And the hallucinogen is considered a crime. And if someone imagines something bloody, it happens, and there's a bloody thing there, but is it really there or isn't it there? They report it on the astral plane, but they don't report it in the real world. If it's never reported in the real world, it's just a hallucination. And why is hallucination crime? I don't know, but it is a crime to hallucinate. And and these hallucinogens are considered crimes, and that's what the crime is, the hallucination. And maybe I'm the only one that's this wacko that's doing this, but these are just permanent dimensional symbology that's affecting this in a downward door, and it just makes hallucinogens that constantly come. And the hallucination is considered a crime, and the hallucination is considered a crime, and the hallucination is considered a crime. Okay, then point three is demons. Have you heard of demons? Well, the big cops are the demons, and they're the cop isn't a person; it's a strange entity, and the cop's not real, and a cop's not a cop isn't just a badge and a gun if you let them. But they're wizards. They're demons. They're a lot more brutal. They do everything brutal that they can. And I don't have a gun. They all have guns. They all have every type of gun you could think of. And so does my neighbor Jose, and so does my neighbor Bruce. They have every kind of gun. I don't have a gun. I have a stick. I have a wand. How can I kill a cop with a wand? That's impossible. A wand made out of plastic is just a toy, and the toy doesn't kill the demon. If every demon was so holy and they think holiness is the best thing in the world, and they think they respect law and order more than anyone else on the planet, I'm sure, and it's a perfect match for their type of species, except it's just a fad and got way out of control. So point four is cops are ghosts. You can't see a cop. They're just a mirage that shows up, and the mirage gets is violent towards you and it harms your soul, and then throws your soul in jail, and then your body doesn't notice the mirage. And every cop is a mirage. They're not real to anyone except for the people in my house, like fairies, and gnomes and those sort of people under my house that live here in fear of me and always want me gone. But I can't usually leave because of mental health issues. Because Wendy and Larry have me under house arrest. So the problem is that the ghosts are mirages to me. They're just invisible, and you can't see a cop. They usually show up in brigades, show up as big guys, show up as small guys, show up as this SWAT, so show up as that thing, show up as this thing, and they bother you and bother you and bother you and bother you, but they're invisible things, and they're ghosts. And if a cop is a ghost, which it definitely is, the Ghostbusters should bust them all, but they probably can't because law and order precedes ghostbusting. And we all heard Donald Trump say that, oh, might is right, right is wrong, good is bad, criminals are evil, and cops are right, and cops are great, and America's best. Okay, those are really backwards notions that are too generic, and that's a very backwards notion. That's very generic, and I'm gonna have to shoot this again. I'm not sure if this is the best day for me, but that's a backwards notion. You can't just say right is right, right is wrong. Criminals are bad, cops are right. Cops deserve everything. They're the best. America's great, and criminals are bad. And this is a very generic thinking that's very wrong, and very linear and very upsetting to hear. It means you're not a deep thinker. You're not a tactician. You're not tactical. You're not spiritual. You think right is right and right is wrong. Okay, well, I'm sure Trump thinks this every day, and so does every other American. But it's really not. It's really disturbing to hear, and it's not the way the world works, and it's not the way things happen to say those sort of things. So point four was that cops are ghosts, and you really can't see the cops. I mean, if I could see you coming up to me, would it matter? I mean, you're just an invisible thing that bothers me, harms my soul constantly, and constantly interrogates my soul. And I've never seen you a day in my life. I've seen a cop like once or twice. Maybe they're usually stop drivers, which I am not. They pull over drunk drivers and stop them. That's what a cop is. You're not. They're not a gang after me. That's invisible. That's a mirage. If you're just a mirage, cops, then why are you a mirage? I'm not that powerful with my technology, and you shouldn't be a mirage. I know there's a million quantum jumpers, and I'm not the only one, so it doesn't make sense that you're a mirage, but you're always a mirage, and people just don't see you. When you stop me in a store and shoot me in the head, and I laser you and you cuff me, when I'm inside a store, can you look at the security cameras that are actual in the store, not planted by you, but the security cameras that are physical and planted by the groceries person? Can you look at those cameras? Can you look at those cameras? I mean, they wouldn't show you. They just show you as a phantom. They just show you as a ghost, and you're not real if you're not on cam. And if you are on cam, you're using a fake camera that you own, not that they own. Okay, so cops are ghosts, and they're a mirage you can't see. So real cops aren't after me at all. Ghost cops are, and I'm just a citizen, and cops just think I'm polite and think I need mental health if they see me. They say you're a mental health risk, and sometimes they politely talk to me, but they usually just refer me to shrinks, and I get drugged every day of my life because of it. And the drugs aren't good for me; they're bad. They made me gain weight, and gaining weight is wrong, no matter what the drug did. Okay, so not all drugs gain weight, but the ones they give me always do, and they force me to take them every day of my life, and that's why I am fat. If people have a problem with my weight, and I don't like bodybuilder cops. If you're really a bodybuilder, but you're just a demon, and you can stop hiding yourself like that and just draw a symbol on your lapel and do something else as a fad, because demons aren't the holiest people around. They don't uphold law and order. If you read about what a demon is. So if I see a real cop, they'll just stop me and talk to me politely and maybe say you need mental health once a year. But the hospitals are very corrupt. The hospitals are corrupt places. They cut you open, they torture you in hospitals, and they kill you. They don't. They take a lot of blood and they do a lot of tests, and they falsely claim there's a zombie plague when there isn't a zombie plague. And hospitals are very corrupt institutions that constantly kill people and constantly are out of whack.